All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today, Dana White just announced the UFC Abu Dhabi July 26th Fight Night card, and I'll say this, I'm quite impressed by the card quality, because if you compare it to all the other Fight Nights of this year, I'd say it's easily top 3 for sure, if not the best. And as far as pay-per-view quality goes, I know it's been, boosted up lately in the summertime, but as far as like pay-per-view quality as a whole for the last few years, this one compares to a lot of the weaker ones. Not on star quality, but as far as fight quality themselves, because you've seen some questionable pay-per-views this year, like UFC 315, like so many of those guys were unranked. And you look at this card, I think every single fight has been ranked aside from Aaron Pico. And yeah, it's a really, really good card, really fun card, really amazing matchups. Like I said, maybe not the star quality, but on paper, it's really impressive. So starting off, he announced that Reinier de Ridder versus Robert Whittaker, and we've already known that because it's been announced, and I'm pretty sure it's been official for a few weeks. But yeah, this is the main event. Early thoughts on the fight. I feel like it's going to be a really good one. I don't think it's going to last the whole 5 rounds. I feel like de Ridder's going to get the submission in rounds 2 to 3. I feel like he's going to do something similar to Chimaev, just not as dominant and not as quickly, because I feel like Robert Whittaker, he's kind of hit or miss as of lately when it comes to the top of the division. And there's so many blueprints on how to beat Robert Whittaker at this point. And I just feel like de Ridder's going to be too strong for him. Robert Whittaker, let's say if they stand the whole time and Robert Whittaker keeps him away from him, I definitely think he could win the decision. I feel like Robert Whittaker is the cleaner striker. However, with the MMA, obviously it's different, so I feel like de Ridder can just kind of outmuscle him, similar to how Dricus did, and then finish him like how Chimaev did, because the questionable teeth and the jaw issues, I don't know, I just don't trust Robert Whittaker in these top 5 matchups anymore. I feel like he could definitely, get some wins in the top 10 for sure. I really question his ability in the top 5, because I feel like Robert Whittaker, not only that, he's kind of small for 185. I feel like if he got down to 170, he would be a devastating force, but I just think it's too late in his career to go down. I remember in an interview he was saying that he would almost rather go up to 205, which to me is completely ridiculous, because I don't even know if Robert Whittaker's 6 foot tall. I think he's like 5'11" or something like that. I could be wrong, but especially when he fought like Adesanya or Dricus, he was undersized. So I feel like it's going to be the same thing with this matchup. And yeah, Dana White said he'll likely be fighting for the #1 contender spot after this fight, meaning de Ridder. Because a lot of people are saying like, oh, why doesn't he just get the title shot if he beats Whittaker? Like I said, Whittaker's kind of been hit or miss lately. And Kyle Bahayo versus Nasruddin Imavov, I'm pretty sure that's going to be made for UFC Paris. Because I said in my previous video, Nasruddin, he's no longer the backup for the Chimaev-Dricus fight. So I feel like if they get that one done, whoever wins that fight will definitely be the #1 contender. And as far as Reinier de Ridder, I feel like maybe they'll match him up with an Adesanya or a Strickland or someone like that, and then give him the title shot, because yeah, Nasruddin Imavov and Kyle Bahayo definitely deserve it before Reinier de Ridder. So yeah. And then he says likely, so keep that in mind, because he says likely a lot in this video. And then next he announces Aaron Pico versus Movsar Evloev. And we've known this for a while now as well. It just hasn't been official, but the rumors and speculation turns out they were all true. And a lot of people are mad at this because they think that Movsar Evloev deserves a title shot already, which I agree with. And I think it's absolutely psychotic that they're giving an unranked someone from out of the promotion a top 5. I've talked about that many times on my channel, because the UFC nerves, the jitters, they don't perform properly. So let's say Aaron Pico comes in here and loses to Movsar Evloev, which chances are what's going to happen. Like, oh, fraud check, blah, blah, blah. Because look what happened with Patchy Mix. Look what happened with Patricio Pitbull. They kind of just freeze up and they don't fight the way they should. And I feel like this is just, maybe Aaron Pico is something special. And in hindsight, obviously, if he wins, look back at this video and be like, oh, okay, I was completely wrong. But I just don't think he deserves this, because it's hard enough to get to the top 5 in the UFC, especially in these lower weight classes. And it's even harder to stay there. So I just think this matchmaking is crazy. It's not going to be a bad fight. I just disagree with the time of it. I feel like Aaron Pico definitely should have fought top 15, maybe top 10. Then you can give him like a Movsar Evloev. But off the rip, top 5 is crazy to me, man. And then Dana White says another likely. He says if Movsarevlev can get through Aaron Pico, he'll likely be the next contender for the title against Alexander Volkanovski. And the reason why I can't stand when he says likely is because he already deserves the title shot. So for him to have to get through Aaron Pico at unranked extreme risk, and then he still might not get the title shot, is absurd to me. However, him saying that he'll be next Volkanovski, I feel like this might put a wrench in the plans of the Yair fight. So I feel like they're probably going to hold off on booking Volkanovski until they see this fight outcome, because if Movsarevlev can get through this with relative ease and not take as much damage, I feel like he could return against Volkanovski in October, and maybe they'll book that fight on the same one with JDM and Makhachev, which is the original plan that I was asking for, because literally Australia versus Russia, perfect. And it just, the story sells itself because, Volkanovski has history with Makhachev, and, to me, it's a no-brainer. So for him to say likely, it's just really unfortunate. I get they don't like the fact that Moser has no finishes, but at what point is he just undeniable? And some would say he's already undeniable. So it's a bit unrealistic to me, but, it is what it is. Next, they announced Petr Yan versus Marcus McGhee, which is another one that I really don't understand, because Petr Yan, literally, I'm pretty sure Umar Nurmagomedov said he's willing to return in October. So if I'm Petr Yan, I'm like, okay, I take not a really risky matchup, but it's definitely still dangerous. Marcus McGhee is a very good fighter, but it's just okay, I could do Marcus McGhee, number 13, and if I lose, then I go all the way down the rankings. Or I can fight an Umar Nurmagomedov in the next, literally wait an extra 2-3 months, and boom, you're fighting Umar, which I'm pretty sure he's ranked number 1 or number 2 in the bantamweight division. So even if Petr Yan lose, it's not as devastating for his ranking in his career, because at this point I'd rather lose to an Umar than I would against Marcus McGhee. I feel like Petr Yan should get this one done for sure, and it seems like Petr Yan just wants to be busy, which, I mean, it is what it is, but at the same time, a quality of opponent like Marcus McGhee, I just don't think that'll be enough to be like, yeah, I beat Marcus McGhee, give me the title shot. So I just feel like Petr Yan should have waited for at least a top 5 opponent, but yeah, like I said, I feel like Petr Yan should get this one done. And then next, Bryce Mitchell's moving down to 135. I'm like, bro, what? I don't know, man. He said that he felt like he wasn't strong enough to deal with a lot of these 145ers, especially Gene Silva. He just felt like he was just out-muscled, and I feel like it's not even a problem of Bryce Mitchell being in 145. I just feel like he needs to go to a better gym and have a more scientific approach to the game, because I get lifting tires on the farm, it's only going to get you so far. I feel like I get he has coaches and all that, but I would really like him to go to one of these super gyms and get, take his fighting a lot more serious. And I just feel like Bryce Mitchell, he really, really, really needs to work on his striking, badly. And then for the fight, Said Nurmagomedov. I mean, to me, this is just a nightmare matchup for Bryce Mitchell, because not only do I not think he's going to be able to get Said down because he comes from that Dagestanian pedigree, I feel like if it's going to be striking, Bryce Mitchell's just going to get pieced apart again like he did with the Gene Silva fight. And I just feel like this is just a complete joke of a matchup, because I just feel like Bryce Mitchell, especially if he's considering a move to bantamweight, I feel like he needs a bit more time to settle into the division, go down the weight, bring his body weight down, and not only that, just train a lot more. Get into a new coach, get into a new gym, and just really, he needs desperate improvement for his striking, because if he can't get you down, he's kind of fucked, and you do not want to be that in the UFC in 2025. It is what it is. I just feel like it's a clear, easy win for Said, and I just feel like, Bryce Mitchell really needs to take a look in the mirror when it comes to the fight game, and he really needs to start taking this 110% seriously. And I know I've said it a billion times, but seriously, the striking needs so much work, man. So much work. And I think this is just too soon. And moving on. Shara Bullet is fighting Marc-Andre Barriault. I agree. Like he said, it should be an incredible matchup. Hopefully Shara Bullet gets this one done, because Marc-Andre, he's quite old. And I feel like Shara Bullet should be able to get this one done, because I feel like he'll definitely have the speed advantage. It's just, he's shown a clear hole in the grappling department. And I don't know. I would really like to see Shara Bullet win again, because I don't think he's top 5 material. I don't think he's championship material, but I just feel like he's a fun fighter to have in the division. And I just feel like Definitely get the rebound, start winning again, because he just lost to MVP. So that's the thing. MVP is so fast and so quick and so dangerous. So I don't blame him for losing to MVP. MVP is a tough matchup if you're only a striker. So hopefully Shara Bullock can add some wrestling into his game as well. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's top 5 material, but I feel like he's definitely fun to have around the UFC. And especially all of these build-ups, like I feel like he's very serious. So you get like Apollo Costa versus him. I feel like that would be a hilarious build-up. And yeah. Like I said, I think Shara Bullock wins this matchup as long as he can keep it standing. And yeah, I just think he's going to be too fast for him. And then the last matchup he announces, Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. And I feel like I said, that's going to be another really good fight. They may not be the biggest names in the world, but he just said 93 finish rate or 93% finish rate versus 100% finish rate. I feel like that's going to be an insane fight for as long as it lasts. I do not think that's going to go to the decision. And yeah, like I said, really good fight night, really good card, quality. I would say at least 8.59. As far as names, probably about a 7. But at this point, the UFC doesn't really have a lot of stars anymore, so you kind of got to accept what you get. And that's the thing. I'd rather really good fights and no build-up than, you know, all the build-up and then like a Strickland or a Colby performance. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I'm excited for it. Can't wait. And yeah, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.